The old, the new. The tiny cup of tea shook in Manuel's hands as he lifted it to his lips. The shaking had started at some point in his more than 20 years of captivity in Timor, maybe halfway through, but it had only become noticeable for him when he held a glass and watched the liquid slosh around, spilling over the rim. It took willpower and concentration to drink from his mother's tea set without making a mess, and Manuel took almost as much satisfaction from mastering his hands as he did from the tea. The set was the same as his mother owned before he had left for Portuguese colonies. Good porcelain painted with blue glazing in the style of azulejos. It had been her most valued possession back in the 30s, and only brought out on special occasions. Much in the living room had not changed. The photos on the walls, the furniture, the little figurine of Saint Anthony upon the cabinet. Many other things were different, of course. His father died of bowel cancer in 1957. He had been told on the way to Lisbon. His mother was old, deeply wrinkled, her hair stark white. His siblings were now about as old as his parents were when he had left. The change that he expected to be the most drastic was the fact that his country no longer existed, except it did, in a sense, and he felt no great difference living in Iberia than he had in Portugal. Homes had television sets, and the cars and clothes were all strange to him, but in the end he was drinking tea from the same tea set, under the same roof, in the same city, with the same streets. It felt as if the places and the people he once knew had been replaced, and now were pretending to be his Portugal. Manuel knew it was silly, but the feeling could not be erased any more than he could stop his hands from shaking. Everything is the same, everything is different. The Pyrenees line. The emergency council meeting concluded with a series of intense measures that were undertaken with immediate effect. One of these measures, what the fuck? One of these was the reactivization and expansion of the Pyrenees defense line. The mobile Germans have proven themselves expert in defeating, or rather avoiding, strong defensive positions in their last European conquest, to encircle troops, contingents, and rush strategic targets. Oh my goodness, my mouth is just blah 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 blah. I'm so tired. However, times have radically changed. More effective and efficient defensive installations have been invented to complement the natural fortification of the Pyrenees Mountains, to give our great peninsula even more importantly. What the fuck? Great Peninsula. Oh, okay. No, I was just reading it weird. Okay. Or a great deal of luck in the conquest of France and the lowlands, something we will not allow them to have if they dare knock on our doors. However, some of our high command, especially with those who advocate for increased special forces use, have warned for naval invasions to try to take key strategic ports, or possibly even the vulnerable Gibraltar Dam itself. Although not an impossibility, we still have deemed the Germans under Göring will prioritize a direct approach. Dude, I'm so tired. I cannot even speak properly. Oh my goodness, I need to fix that. News of another display of separatist activity has been relayed internally by the Exinsia. A pair of rebellious youths had it. Oh shoot, I completely forgot about that. It's been so long since I've freaking done this. Isn't there? Wait, shoot. It's there's something in here I gotta do. I don't remember how to do it though. Oh crap. Oh no. But yeah, just the teenagers, yeah. They did bad shit. Teachers die. Oh, fucking teenagers, not teachers, die in AAS custody. The ashen yet calm police chief slowly descended down the cracked stone slabs of the station, with every nearing step to the Grand Oak entrance. Doors increasing. Oh my tongue. The blasting cacophony. They spam that fucking cacophony word. Jeez Louise, man. Of voices streams outside. With a quick pause and steady breath, he opened them to the unwelcome greeting. of harsh camera flashes and unintelligible questions. Raising his hand, he tries to soften the din. He went over. What? I don't know what softening the din means. He went over the message he had to relay again, already gritting his teeth in anticipation of what is to follow. The tragic death of two youths who had vandalized AAS station in Bilbao, only to be arrested immediately on the scene, was a travesty. Local police had been due to transfer the delinquents into custody to await trial, only to find both had died under mysterious circumstances while being detained by AAS agents without having the full consequences or consideration of the transferring officers. They're stupid assholes, dude. I think they killed themselves. That's what it is, definitely, like Epstein. Riots in Bilbao. The lazy summer sun warmed the already cracking roof tiles of a town in total uproar, creating an almost amazing contrast to the chaos on the streets of Bilbao. Large mobs had gathered, numerous protesters and signs decrying the supposed injustice committed against the two recently deceased youths and their families. Their angry march had taken them right to the arms of the waiting riot police, who had seemingly little sympathy with protesters. Oh my, these guys are dumbasses, dude. No, do not get support. I have so little stability as is, man. Come on. At least the dam is almost done. This is just saying that the fucking douchebag Goring, the militarist, is probably gonna try to take our shit, so we gotta fortify it, and expenses will rise because of that. Ensuring Iberian unity. In an unprecedented move of unity, both Caudillos announced during a recent council meeting that in the face of the immense external danger Goring's Germany was currently posing to Iberia's survival and integrity, that both wanted to deepen the solidarity that the Iberian people felt towards one another. Therefore, propaganda tools during the upcoming weeks should be focused on painting a beautiful picture of a splendid union of equals, united in diversity against the painful conflict and conquest that Goring would bring upon Iberia. Reminiscent of the horror of the Spanish Civil War, the terrified council members left the council room in a dreamlike state, both eager to impart the Caudillos' message into the public policy, but also happily shocked by the unprecedented cooperation between both Caudillos. On this matter, the two old men had finally come to an agreement. Both were too fearful of the danger that was strengthening just beyond the horizon. A bond reforged that first had been set in place by the same man. Now they again may confront Salazar, even agreed with Franco to push total Iberian unity for the sake of a better prepared union. He also eventually caved into Franco's suggestion to deal harshly but quietly with any resisting elements in the state. Get better stability. Everything need to be done to prepare for the dark tomorrow, where all Iberians unite. Broken house. With each waking second, the inspector could feel the dark bags under his eyes weighing him down more and more. This is literally me right now. As if they had been attached by invisible weights. Staring up blankly, he noticed his trusty desk lamp was faring no better than him. The 3 dead bulbs trembled underneath already had varying layers of dust collecting on them. Sighing, he leaned back to fully take in the chaos in front of him. The case papers seemed to have multiplied exponentially with his investigative work since the dismissal, yet the solution was no closer, and it was infuriating him to no end. Looking at the photo of the missing heiress, he felt a sudden chill as he imagined her calling out his name. He squinted hard at the picture, only to notice the calls had come from behind him. His wife was in the doorway, with a face of stone. Tick, giving her sparsely any attention. He turned back to his work. Tick. He could hear the thudding steps as she was coming closer, accusing him with every step. Tick. It did not sound real. His body felt so light he could have begun to float. Tick. As she drew nearer, he began to make out the harsh words that were spewing from her frightfully contorted face. Tick. Anger began to wash over the inspector. First the case, then the work incident, and now finally his wife. It seemed nothing was willing to give him a break. As she grabbed his shoulder, he turned towards her, with an expression of utter madness. Boom! The smack was sudden without mercy. The inspector's wife stepped back, reeling, clutching her reddened cheek, with a look of abject horror on her face. Suddenly the world came back into focus. The inspector looked at his hand in disbelief, as if it were a foreign body entirely alien to him. Across the room, now retreating slowly away from him, the same look was mirrored back. Yet it was not directed at his hand, but his whole being. A quiet apology slipped loosely out of the inspector's mouth, but as soon as it departed from his lips, he knew it had not been enough. He turned back to his work, as the door to his study slammed shut. Not long after, he heard the front door violently close. The case papers still lay on his desk. Will they save me? Man, he's going through it. Abusing his wife because he's hard at work. Don't do that. Don't abuse your wife. The White Terror, furious knocking at his door, alerted Johann Joseph. I think it's Johann, or just Joan Joseph. To his feet, the old man pleaded with the visitors as they threatened to break in. And hobbling as quickly as his joints would allow, he opened the door and 6 military men, all armed and armored, burst into his house, quickly scanning the room to find any other people. What is the meaning of this? Jean-Joseph demanded. Sit down, now. Do as I say, said the officer, as he pointed his rifle directly at the old man. Jean-Joseph complied, sitting down, filled with terror. Don Camalade, is it? The officer relaxed his arm, letting his rifle point towards the floor. Is anyone else in the building? No, sir. Don Calamid. We have reason to believe that you or someone else in this building is involved in arms smuggling operation for the CNT. I just need to ask you a few questions. Is there anybody else who lives in here with you? No, my wife passed away 3 years ago. Do you possess weapons? No, never once. Thank you for your cooperation, Don Camalade. I will sit here with you while the agency conducts a brief search. We will soon be done. Jean-Joseph had heard a few things like this happening to others before, innocent people whose homes were stormed by the AAS, but Jean-Joseph was not innocent. He knew it. The souls of those nationalists he had gunned down in the trenches of Aragon 29 years ago knew it too. Surely he had nothing in his house from those old days. Surely the AAS would not find anything. Surely he would be safe. Minutes felt like hours, the agents watching over Jean-Joseph, offering only the heartless gaze of the White Terror. But he did not die that day. Thank you, Mr. Comlad. Apologies for the interruption. Go on with your business. The agent stood up, and along with the other agents, wordlessly left. There, Jean-Joseph still sat, still petrified. The White Terror is back, or perhaps it never left. Domestic proposals. Minister of Labor Alberto Lutares stood at the podium. Information Minister Manuel Fraga stood at his left, and the respected law professor and counselor Torquato Fernandez Miranda stood at his right, strangers before the council's formation. These 3 men had become increasingly close in the past few months. Occasionally, the 3 were spotted at a cafe together, and often they supported the same incentives in the council. Tonight, though, was the most blatant showing of their informal alliance. Lutares began a speech which had been co-written by himself and the 2 other councilors. In recent months, the efforts taken by our caudillos, the military, police, and the intelligentsia to combat terrorism has successfully crushed numerous plots. Nonetheless, public support for the regime has faltered in the face of disappointing economic growth. In addition, the lingering fear of terrorism and crime. If we are to maintain the goodwill of the Iberian people, it is vital that in addition to our expansions of the security apparatus, we expand our domestic institutions. The small-scale poverty relief program in the Iberian Union result in most of the unemployed suffering from poor living conditions. In a handful of the poorest communities, malnutrition continues to stain our union. We are here today to introduce a discussion a detailed plan to combat poverty and expand public support for the government, while continuing to protect the status of the firms that form the backbone of our Iberian economy. Over the next several hours, the council discussed and debated over the new plans. While broad support could be reached for a few programs, particularly those proposed to reform the Seguridad Social, other provided highly controversial at some point an argument between Manuel Fraga and Rafael Duque became so heated that Franco himself intervened to bring the council back into order. It is overwhelmingly likely that the next few months will see significant changes to Iberia's domestic policy. Yep, okay. We got this. Oh no, still no new focus tree though, but we will get one soon. The Iberian Council assembles. The streets downtown of Madrid roar with life as the great halls of the Iberian Council are packed to the brim with legislators with plans to improve the lives of everyday Iberians and resolve the larger issues facing the Union. Yeah, basically just simply forms, awkward tandem, councillors, two leaders engage in council with tall talk of prosperity and national greatness, following several ungainly speeches adhered nearly equal between Franco and Salazar. The two leaders jointly called the deliberation the council to open. Let it begin. And I get a new focus tree. Let's go. Up with the times. Yeah. Let's go. We can actually, can I fix the economy? That's really my main thing. Because, man, this shit is awful. Kinda. No, not at all. Oh, let's go. Medium taxation. An 8-hour workday. Fuck. This ain't nothing that fixes my shitty ass economy. In army, dude. Betrayal of the old guard. No, Iberian economy nightmare, bro. 20%. What makes my construction so bad? That's what I don't understand, though. Let me look. I'm still looking, and I don't see why I'm making, look at this. 1969, one factory, bro. What? Hundreds in Lisbon protest against Spanish dominance. Yeah, Lisbon, a fucking, god dang it, man. It's just a balancing act, really. I think mainly, they're not too strong, so I think I'm gonna save my points. Oh, wait, shit, should I have been, lowering them to the point where I can, fuck. Up with the times. You called me for a meeting at this ungodly hour, Salazar asked. Over the phone, it only took a glimpse out the window to tell the time, as the only thing illuminating the dark skies of either city were the streetlights of Madrid and Lisbon. What is so urgent to you that it cannot wait another 10 hours? The scuffle at Barcelona has me worried, Franco, wiping his forehead with hand. This is going to happen again. I know these rat bastards separatists better than you, and I know them well enough to tell you this won't be the end of it. Do you think we can survive another Barcelona? I don't, Antonio. We need to update the Constitution. Offer the people something that will calm them down for a while. Franco just kept speaking, only stopping to catch his breath. But Antonio, we needed to be united front against this. We can't show disunity on this question. Francisco, what are you on about? Salazar asked. Wasn't it enough that we created the Iberian Council? Now you want to give them more concessions? Tell me, Franco responded, his tone growing agitated. Would you rather this union fall apart? Do you want the consequences if the peninsula melts around us? You know what would happen. We have to do something before it's too late. Help me out here. It's if only for your own sake. Damn you, Franco. I just want to go to sleep. Understandable. What matters to the people? Finally, the government was ready to discuss. It was not the entire government, of course. It was the council of representatives from several government agencies and the caudillos themselves. Remarkably, the entire council was present, which was the first issue the convention met. There were not enough seats for everyone. The convention solved its first issue in approximately 3 minutes with a couple of folding chairs. The first real problem of the convention was where to start. They had a whole constitution to revise, after all. And even though they would reach all of it, it would not get done at once. Of course, this is where bickering ensued. Following an eternity of arguments over petty, ultimately meaningless issues, Salazar put his foot down and ordered them to start from the top. Basic needs. Let's go along with it. Yeah. Getting some nice social reform over here. The orchards of Guinea. It was a Choice between 10 years in prison or 5 years in the cashew orchards. Food was more expensive these days, and Umaro was not about to let his family starve, even if it was forced him to commit theft. Alas, the rice seller alerted an officer whom Umaro had not seen, and as Umaro tried to flee, 20 kilograms of stolen rice weighed him down. His wife and children had to join him in the orchard. If they refused, how would they eat? Little Haruno, all of 4 years old, gathered cashew fruits that had fallen to the ground alongside his 7-year-old sister, Dua. Umaro and his wife, Jinaba, sat at the shelling station, hammering at the cashew shells to expose the nuts within. Dust entered Jinaba's lungs as she struggled to breathe. As particles of toxic resin lodged itself in her windpipe, Umaro's left hand was blistered from the resin, his gloves having partially torn and needing to work another 40 hours to purchase a new one. The lodging was meh at best. Blankets sprawled over a concrete floor. Each man, woman, and child packed inside. This is literally just slavery, bro. I guess, yeah, it is prison slavery. Paid down with hoses. The food was even worse. A bowl of rice twice a day. On Sundays, fufu, bland, and unfavored tablespoons of peanut sauce or pepper sauce could be purchased for 10 hours of work. But with frequent fines, most could not hope to afford this more than once a week. The punishments were cruel and frequent on these long 12 hours. Shifts, move too slowly and too sloppily, and be canned by the overseer's baton, or be fined for many hours' pay. Try to rest for a second, and their faces, necks, and limbs. Oh no, many workers' scars. Okay, yeah. Shit. Scarred in the other way. Creative overseers had collected resin to paint the skins of the punished, such as the blisters would form into patterns and shapes. These were facts of life in the orchards of Guinea, all for a bag of rice. That's awful, bro. What the fuck? Let's go. Some of the Basque terrorists arrested. Through the valiant efforts of loyal citizens, our glorious union, the security forces were today able to arrest a dangerous group of Basque separatists in Bilbao. An elderly man who lived in a rather run-down apartment block on the outside of the city had seen multiple suspicious-looking men enter the rooms next door and heard them shout about and sing rather incriminating things. Let's go, random old guy, let's go! Bombing in Madrid killed 12. The Plaza Repubblica Dominicana has been attacked yesterday by the ETA separatists via car bomb in Madrid, killing 12 people and injured a further 32. The dead were all members of the Guardia Civil studying in the nearby traffic school of Príncipe de Vergara. The targeted police convoy consisted of 70 civil guards aged between 18 and 25 who had left a traffic school in order to head to Vente de la Rubia on the outskirts of the capital, where the police engaged in daily practice driving a motorcycle. The convoy consisted of a bus, a minibus, and a Pegaso truck, and followed the same route at the same time every day, which likelihood made the ETA's job easier. The car bomb was loaded with an estimated charge of 35 kilos of Goma 2 explosives and significant quantities of shrapnel, and was triggered by some remote control by one of the terrorists who had been waiting for the passing of the convoy at a nearby bus stop. Another one of the terrorists was waiting nearby in a vehicle to flee. The explosion threw the bus into the air. 4 officers were killed instantly, the other 32 injured. Yeah. Damn. They ain't fucking around, I guess. They're trying to separate the question of colonial citizenship. The growing movement in the Congress has finally found itself sufficient support to debate the colonial citizenship. Iberian citizenship is granted automatically to anyone who is a parent in the Iberian... parent with Iberian citizenship. A face value, simply policy. However, it becomes significantly more complicated once one factor and the other processes such as colonial residence. The natives are considered non-Iberian and denied citizenship. Effectively, they are denied any benefits that one would gain from citizenship. A clique of Congress has argued for the policy, several reasons. Some find it unjust to deny the native citizenship since they lived on the land. So, this, I do think it's, like, unjust that if you're going to have a colony and then not, like, give them citizenship. But really, in my opinion, since Iberia is having, like, a fucking working shortage, we need as many workers in this fucking country as possible because our economy's kind of taking a shit. But no, if I was actually, like, probably leader, I probably would not give citizenship to all of, like, my colonies, mostly just, like, to appease. Well, I say I'm not, like, if I could, I would do it all, but it's not really feasible, like, in reality. I would try to give it to probably, like, Spanish Africa, like, around this area, because this is a lot of Spanish heritage is in here from them colonizing it for so long. And probably Equatorial Guinea probably has a lot of, like, cross racial people, which I know is not, like, you shouldn't have to have citizenship just based on your race, but this is, like, 1965 fucking despotism, Spain, Iberian Union. So, as predicted, the settlers took native citizenship very poorly. The groups usually organized by colonial domains such as Guinea, Morocco, and so on have announced a joint proclamation with a near unanimous decision to publicly protest the federal government. I know, I understand that it sucks for you guys, but, like, we kind of, natives support the government. Thank you, natives. Love you, bro. But we really need these workers in our factories, man. It's not even, like, a racial issue. We still love you, Iberians, but, like, we really need these workers. God damn it. Now they're getting fucking pissed at each other and fighting each other. Less than legal nearby colonists. Natives began to fight back. I'm sorry, man. I didn't realize it would cause this much fucking pain and for you guys. Like, I guess they are racist, probably. This is 1965 and they're Spanish. Really don't like most black people. Makes sense. God damn it! The natives fucking surrendered. Shit. Maybe I need to go back and, like, change that, because that was bad. I don't know. I'm sticking with my choices. Oh, shit. Maslow's theory's food. A politician taps a finger on his notes, eventually settling and running his fingers along the paper as he reads it aloud. According to the psychologist Marcelo, his pyramid needs posits a hierarchy of needs. Following its logic, the only way to get a happy, productive citizen is to make sure the needs are fulfilled. His voice is loud but monotone. He clearly wants people to hear, though he doesn't seem very enthused himself. As I'm sure you all know, everybody needs to eat. Hunger goes on, even if you can't stop it. I do know anyone who cannot provide for themselves. I do not know anyone who cannot present. He looks expectantly at the other politicians, who start speaking on cue. I would like to propose something to help people get the food they need so that they aren't left in the dust. A specifically dedicated currency to be given out to anyone in the country that needs it. Provided it is food, not luxury. Yeah, why would we need this? You know what the auxilio social, right? It's already done that duty for us. What's the point of bloating the state for a function it doesn't need? This is actually pretty good. Yeah, no, I need a poverty rate and silent majority to like us. And okay, so why does making an 8-hour workday make the silent majority not like us? Don't we have a fucking, like, what is it? It's 12-hour work today? Why do they not like an 8-hour workday? I don't get it. Is it because, like, shit, I don't really know. Like, is it just because they can work less so they can't get paid as much? Maybe that's what it is. And they're, like, really poor, so they need to work as much as they can. That makes sense, I think. I don't really know. But I think this is what we're gonna go for. Yeah, we're gonna do this Oh no, income rate. We don't. We don't really need income rate right now. We need definitely the stability, and then I'm gonna go down this path to get the stability over here, and then do this because this is just negatives for me. I think. Actually, wait. Let's check. Sorry, I normally don't show this stuff, but I do want to see. So we get 15% plus 5 stability. Show, yeah, no, that's just, I'm doing that last because I don't really need income because I'm not building shit because I can't. It takes 3 years to build one factory for some reason. There's Maslow theories, things we won't debate. There are several other matters within the hierarchy of needs, such as sleep and reproduction. The man shrugged. There's nothing we can do about those. So let's move on. Nobody disagrees. Okay. They're just like, fuck that. We don't want to deal with that right now. Valid. Maslow's theories, water. I don't know if I have been recording, so sorry if you heard that bumping noise. It was me hitting my chin on my mic. Water, nothing on this earth more is important than water. No man here could deny it. Without water, and I see some of you have bottles of it now, we would be dead as well a graveyard. Okay, it would be dead as well as a graveyard. The man continues, as important as water is, the cleanliness of water. Drinking filth will do nothing but make you sick. At best, without access to water, more than you strictly need, and clean, you cannot expect to have a happy, productive citizen. The man clears his throat. We need to make sure the water is clean. Some areas of Iberia have been left behind. They do not have clean water. I have some water regulations here, and if we assert them, another... I don't know. We haven't... So, yeah, wait, if they've not had any... We haven't had any, like, crap. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think we have tap water. I do think it would be good, but I do not want the businessmen to be mad at me. Well, hey, what's our poverty rate at right now? If it's like above 60. Okay. And is it going up? Oh, it's very slowly. Okay, shit. This isn't... Oh, that's probably why it's so bad. God, 20% minus construction speed. I'm fucking establishing them water regulations. We need to get that up. Maslow's theories. Shelter. Then there is finally the matter of shelter. Everyone needs a roof over their heads, or they'll live short, miserable lives. I have nothing to say about this, so I'll let a colleague take their position. This man goes silent as another speaks in a move that was painfully obviously coordinated. It is critical that we make sure all Iberians have housing. Not everyone has a house, and some lack the means to gain one. Even worse, some do, but they live in squalor and filth. Is it true that we provide housing already, but our programs are not sufficient? I would propose intervention into the housing market, with specifics to be worked out later. Is it our duty to make sure that the people of Iberia do not want when they could not provide? Okay, yeah, so I think this is insane if they would actually, if fucking Francisco Franco would, he is fascist. I don't know. Because fascism's like so, well, he's like a phalangist fascist hybrid type of monarchist. So I could see him being like, this is too liberal. But again, in the support of the people, it's not really like seen that way, if that makes any sense. At least that's what I always thought of fascism. Because like, they do have programs like in National Socialism. They have programs for the people, the Germans, but like they just fuck over everybody else. What's our expenses right now? Okay, our annual budget is $6 billion. That's a decent amount. And what are we making? Our 2%. So we have a 5% interest rate. Oh no, I don't think we can do this. But what's our council influence? It's low. I don't want the interest rate to go up, even though it would be good. But like, I just cannot deal with the interest rate right now because I'm broke as fuck. Rise of Portuguese separatist group. God, bro, these people just, come on, man. Truly 20 years. We're chill, dude. We're not like being racists. We're like to each other. We're all good guys. We're having good times. Come on, man. Come on. I just want I want authoritarian, like just somebody that's not despotism, But yeah, we got this. Easy street, dude. Eventually we got this. The Balaam Manifesto. It had taken months to arrange this meeting. Not since the Civil War had leaders of the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, General Union of Workers, Syndicalist Party, and Basque Nationalist Party all been together in the same room. Yeah, 9 men sat residents in Balaam, Brazil. 4 were Iberian dissidents that had been quietly smuggled out of Cadiz. The others were exiles, 3 Portuguese and 2 Spanish, that had not seen Iberia in many years. The rising discontent that created Iberia's terrorist movements as an opportunity for reform, the tensions in the room slowly dissipated. The men discussed which content to include in their manifesto. Democratic rights and legislation of opposition parties were obvious, but were any parties too extreme to legalize? Should the Iberian Union be dissolved or maintained? Should the culturally distinct regions of Iberia granted full autonomy? Yeah, so they're trying to fucking do some shit there. But we ain't letting them. Let's go. We protected South Africa from fucking the Nazis. I capitulated this whole ass thing though. That's the thing. That's bullshit. I soloed this whole area and almost capitulated over here too, just by snaking. Oh my goodness, that man looks like a Nazi. Whoa. Is he fucking the terrorizer? That's insane. None of these other guys just look like that much of a Nazi. That guy kind of does. But, like, man, this guy looks like he would definitely have the fucking title, the Terrorizer, dude. Ain't no way. Bald-ass guy. These guys are cool. But no, I just can't get over the fucking Terrorizer. The new Minister of Information. The Palace of the Cortez was on high alert. Soldiers in full uniform, armed with the DUX submachine guns, guarded every entrance to the palace, preventing any civilians from approaching, such as were measures had been taken. Terrorist threat escalated. With so few men on the council, it would be obvious if anyone were missing. It would be more obvious if an unfamiliar face were to appear. And so, as Manuel Fraga entered the chamber for his first session, he could feel dozens of curious and suspicious eyes moving over him. Franco rose from his seat and began to speak. Gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome Senor Manuel Fraga into the council. After much deliberation, Salazar and I have appointed him to head the newly established Ministry of Information. In this role, Fraga will lead a renewed and more organized effort to combat extremist propaganda. Several smaller bureaus in the present Ministry of Education, Ministry of Labor, and Ministry will be reorganized under Fraga's supervision to ensure consistent, hard-hitting effort against propagandists across the nation. I give the floor to Don Fraga. Thank you, my Cadillo, began Fraga. Good evening, gentlemen. As we attempt to bring an end to terrorism in Iberia, that's shitty, I'm not doing that accent. Terrorists have adapted new tactics and new strategies to win over those vulnerable to their messages. In Griona, last week, a group of CNT members briefly hijacked the city's largest radio station, preaching absurd anti-government conspiracies to thousands of people. Our battle against terrorism is much as a battle against propaganda, and if we were to succeed in our mission to organize and expand our own media outreach efforts, the terrorist propaganda is specifically designed to inflame regional tensions and speak primarily to disaffected young men. Yeah, devote ministry, region cities with terrorists are most active. We got this. We're not no separatists. Oh shoot. Oh, okay. So it was what the fuck? It was a stalemate? That was not a fucking stalemate. Do you see how much I capitulated them bastards? Fuck you. Matters of the state, the constitutional debate, new stage, blah blah blah. Yeah. Franco speaks against separatism. There's nothing worse, nothing in the world than terrorists, began the Cadillo. A somewhat raspy tone under every word he spoke. They confound me at every turn, and I do not mean in the terms of justice. I do not understand them, and I probably never will. Spain is a beautiful country, and when you bring the entire peninsula, everything only gets more beautiful. I can see why my colleague is so proud of his mandate now. Franco allows himself a smile, almost even a chuckle, before biting back down to continue speaking. We ought to be united as one country, indivisible until the Pyrenees. These separatists, these terrorists, wish to break apart one of the greatest natural states to ever exist on God's earth. I come to you all today to beg you to do not allow these monsters leeway. They are just that, monsters. If they even have so much of an inch, they will take the mile from you at gunpoint. I care about all of you, which is why I'm so committed to keeping you as well as possible. Never allow these criminals to destroy you. The Cadillo speaks for some time more and wanders off stage to the applause of the crowd. Thank you, you are all too kind. Thank you, man. I need these ASS resources. Let's go. Okay. Raid these supplies. Raid these supplies for sure, because they are getting too much, and get their activity down. Oh, so how the fuck do they have so much supplies, but they got no support? This is so bullcrap, dude. Ugh. A councilman, a short fellow with a bushy face, prepared his speech. Well, technically, it had been handed to him by Franco, but for all intents and purposes, it was his. It is a terrible issue within modern Iberia. For all its posturing as a unified country, it does not have a unified judiciary. The system is decentralized, and the regional courts can run around as if they are independent. Yeah, so how are we best to integrate these courts? Oh no, yeah. We definitely need to centralize. You need your court system to be centralized. So, do they not, let's say, now that I got even farther, okay, so the lowest they can get is just not having a preference. Okay. Disturbing news regarding the Exinsia. It is no secret in the government circles that the Exinsia has been in on some unpleasant times. Agency performance is down, and reports have gotten progressively less detailed as the whole organization seems to be sputtering to a standstill. At least they have, for the most part, been attending to an adequate number of separatists, and are generally passable enough to let be. This is until distressing alerts to the true function of the department surfaced. The whistleblower is very anonymous, and the information traveled through very tight channels to make sure it was not intercepted. The leveled allegations are very serious and extreme. Corruption, rampant nepotism, and system designed to keep it all from leaking out. The most disturbing implication was that the suggestion that some of the reports are faked, meaning the Exinsia is not as effective as hoped. Yeah, so we definitely need to the integration of I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Yep, so the AAS is deeply corrupted. Fuck. That's not good. Families in the regime, the Cadillos, the first most important full clique in Iberia, the leaders, begs for backstabbing and treachery, guiding the peninsula from collapsing bloody anarchy. What in the world is there? So I just realized the fucking Iberian Council now controls. I don't understand why. Oh, is it because they're at an even standstill? I guess we're fucked now, and neither of them get really power. I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I do know though that this is some fuckery, dude. Down. Families of the regime, yeah. So the military has almost full power, or like if they really want to, they can oust them. So now, okay. Favoring the cross around over the sword, similarly antiquated with the Cadillos in the Catholic Church, is an incredibly influential institution holding dominance over the Iberian religion. It predates all facets of life in some way, the centerpiece of a stage carefully constructed to accommodate it by many rulers of Spain. In Portugal. Yeah, so I don't know. What's the council's? I don't feel like the council's influence is even high. Yeah, it's at very low. So I would rather take away some fucking power. Oh my, that's so many good buffs. Yes, take away some of the power of the church. Fuck you guys. I love you, church, but the Catholic Church, I don't really love the Catholic Church. I have good memories of it, though. La ciudad no es para mí. Newly released film, The City is Not For Me, made history today with the most successful opening weekend of any film ever made in Iberia. The film is a comedy which mainly looks at the cultural divide between rural and urban Iberians. The main character, Augustin, an elderly man who'd never left his rural farming village, but travels to Madrid to stay with his son for weeks. Hilarity ensues. Yeah. Among critics, emotionally light, yeah. So, oh shit. I don't know. Okay. Uniting the party will increase. Yeah, no. Let them quarrel. A state run by two people, they must delegate. Give up shreds of their power to lesser men. Um, hmm. So I think I would rather just, yeah. I don't really know what really this does, though. Besides just give us less support. I'll just let them quarrel, sure. I don't fucking know. Families of the regime, those that remain. Oh shit. Okay, it was a false claim that Iberia had been politically stagnant through the years. The greatest example, perhaps the creation of the Union itself. The groups slowly withered away. Not. Iberia killed them. The relevant minor seemed that they are going to disappear in a few years. In fact, the only reason they still exist is because they haven't realized they no longer exist without our intervention. In their suffering, sure. I don't know. I don't need no fascism in my country. We don't like these guys, and I guess they're national social, ultra nationalism, socialists. Unlikely voices speak up. An unexpected happening occurred in which an unknown employee involved in the Xenia military joint programs has come forward to deliver anonymous tips to the state partnership while he believes who works for the annexes, blah, 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 blah. Raises issue. This is too risky. I don't know. AAS insiders expose the military. He expected profit, a little extra money in his salary alone. He was a bureaucratic paper pushing was what he excelled at, and he wanted to keep it until the day he could use the stamp no longer. It wasn't any harm. What he done? A little bit of money to a benefactor. Keep the finer fees on his own. Anybody notice? If something cheaper for his lover, none of this would ever have happened. Under the cruel lamplight he broke. They had known everything, down to the tiniest secret. There wasn't enough between him and his benefactor to keep all hell breaking loose. Yeah. Many critical details, interrogation, bureaucrats involved in the case brought length. Okay, yeah, I get it. Let's see. They ain't getting shit from me, bro. The truth revealed. The corruption within the AS worse than originally thought. So it's worse than the terribleness that was suggested. So it's terrible. It's like triple terrible. Mass culture, cronyism. First question. Corrupt officers in question are liable to deal with the proper force. Greedy and impartial. No deals. This is unacceptable. We might be fascists or despotism. Shit. I don't even think the bureaucrats like me at all. So like, I think it's fine if I kind of. Where is it at? I don't even have the options anymore. So I don't even know if they like me. Oh yeah, because they got kicked out. I forgot. So yeah, prosecute every single one. I don't understand how this happened because council is low and they were tied, but I don't know. Oh wait, no, there it is. Never mind. I'm stupid. But this is better, I think. Iberian Council, we get this 5% stability, which is nice. Bombing in Madrid cafe kills 9. The cafeteria Rolando was attacked yesterday afternoon in Calle del Carruro, Madrid, killing 9 people and wounding another 51. Though no claim of responsibility was made, the attack is believed to have been carried out by the armed Basque separatist group ETA. The Rolando Cafe, located on the 4 Calle del Carrero in Madrid, close to the General fucking hell, dude, these words. Directorate. Oh, that's not even a bad word, dude. I'm just stupid. Of security, the headquarters of the Spanish police. It was regularly frequented by members of the police force and security services. The bomb was placed at the entrance. More than 300 people were eating in the neighborhood El Tobogan restaurant. Yeah. 2 of the 9 killed and 11 of the injured were members of the police. However, the wounded included members of 2 of the Spanish political police, with the remainder employees and customers of the cafe. There was a severely injured victim who was in very critical state and unlikely to survive. Stay calm. We got this. Oh, shoot. Elephant in the room. Finally, the dreadful subject arrived, the newest subject of the schedule, the status of the diarchy, the system under which Iberia accommodates both Cadillos, the atmosphere in a manner, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we ought to not discuss what we can do right now. Salazar waved him off. No, I say we discuss this matter. It's about high time. Yeah, no, so, it had to come sooner or later. We gotta discuss it. The pros and cons of diarchy. Of course, nobody wanted to start an argument over diarchy, not in front of the Cadillos. But an objective ground was necessary for discussion. To this end, they were provided a summary of the legal powers of the diarchy, rulings and documents where powers came from, and were charged with figuring out the Byzantine web of bureaucracy. The men present, for the most part, agreed the best way would be to assemble a list of pros and cons. The institution would stay for sure, but figuring out where it succeeded and failed would be critical. Very well. Cadillos began to argue. Ow, fucking, owie, ow, like I cut my fucking leg on the table. Ow. Oh, my bad. One of the largest benefits of the diarchy is the increased cooperation between leaders, creating an apparatus where 2 people may respond distinctively to issues rather than one. Yes? The clerk looked at the Cadillos. Actually, Salazar said, the political apparatus does not encourage decisive interaction. Mark that off. In fact, I'd say that goes so far as to hinder decisive action, with even the tiniest thing to protect a country. Enough, you petty bastard, Franco snapped. It's enough that you groan and grumble every little measure that doesn't coddle you like a damn child. I tried one good thing done, and all you can do is think about taking jabs at me. The 2 continued to bicker, at this point blind to the world beyond what they could use to argue with each other. The council became first external group to see, in all its glory, the way which the Cadillos cooperated. Everyone except the 2 dictators sat in silence, unable to muster the will to move or even stop watching the argument. The clerk himself shrank back, unwilling to be near it. Yeah, I'll just let them sort it out. They got this. Oh no, shit. The stunned silence finally broke when Franco, fed up with the actions of his colleague, slapped Salazar in the mouth. I should have stopped them. He lunged for Franco with a yell. The 2 had started to come to blows, wrestling one another. A few slaps, a couple punches, and 2 were held back by their advanced age. Yet again, the council was stunned silence. The army representative suddenly stood up, almost dragged the Annexia agent out of his seat. We need to stop them before they hurt themselves. The officer turned, found a phone, called the Guardia Civil. Oh my goodness. Help them. We got this. They got this. No, fuck. I didn't mean to do that. No, wait, please. I had to go back and switch the other option. I was not about to fucking take my country because I was being stupid. I thought that was like stop them. I didn't expect them to like join hands and start brawling each other even more. There will be no tolerance for corruption. Anything even resembling it will be closely monitored. Yeah, so they basically try to not have the corruption in this shit. And I don't think, again, the military has any liking of me, so yeah. Remove the corrupt superiors as well. Signs of improvement. Have you practiced it all? Asked Salazar, surveying the virgin chessboard from the black side of the board. D4, D6. It's hard to find an appropriate opponent. Besides, I have been slightly busy dealing with the terrorists destroying this country. F4, D5. Salazar beheld the board. Then he looked upwards towards Franco. Salazar was not quite looking at him, but rather seemed to be looking in the general direction. QD3, C5. To think, if one little thing had gone differently, I might have been playing chess with another man. QB5 plus ND7. Franco was silent for a moment. At that moment, lengthened into several seconds. It became clear that he was trying to figure out what little thing was. Finally, he moved a piece as he finally found what the memory was. DXC5 E6. Ah, Senjuro. Maybe it was for the best. Not that I despised him, but the old lion was quite foolish. NC3 A6. Blah, blah, blah. What about you? Do you often give thought to how you got here? Sometimes, I suppose. Portugal has been my life, and who doesn't think about their life every once in a while? And the war, too. Was Gibraltar worth it? You hardly take risks like that anymore. What kind of question is that? Of course it was. There was not much risk to it either. Germany was winning, and they did. Salazar's expression had changed. She seemed pleasant, confident. Franco was locked in contemplative gaze, listening to the Cadillo and looking at the chessboard in equal focus. BD2 QXAL or AX1. You still ought to be practiced at this, started Salazar. You're not quite there yet. It certainly lasted longer than last time. So he's at least improving. Good job, Franco. Oh, changes to the AAS. Let's go. Administrative pyramid. Sure. It's no secret that Annexia anti-separatists had been in a shoddy state. Performance had been at an all-time low. Morale had taken a nosedive, and no matter how much is allocated to them, simply it isn't enough to effectively foil separatists. Whenever an audit into department occurs, it's usually shot down or given conspicuously conclusive results in a short time. Okay, this is just saying they're corrupt again. More radical solution proposed, something far greater than just oversight. Radical suggestion to completely restructure the Annexia. Sure, yeah. We're gonna restructure them. Oh shit, Salazar's the leader now. That's crazy. That's like the first time he's actually been. I didn't even. I've just been like fucking around doing shit. But yeah, no, I just clicked a bunch of options. I was really not paying attention, to be honest, of who was in charge, because I really didn't mind who would be in charge slightly, because they're still a diarchy. It's not like Franco. I guess Franco's more of a militarist, or if anything. Restructuring took its course. The most obvious symptom was the displeasure of the old guard, where warmth and joviality towards the regime stood. Now one could only find a polite, cordial attitude, evidencing stronger feelings. This attitude was the strongest amongst those in higher sections of politics, who presumably took the sweeping changes to the Annexia as a threat to their prosperity. There was no celebration among them. Well, fuck you guys. We fucking are saving this bitch. We're not letting this country crash and burn. Franco had been an enemy of a large sentiment of the older guard in his administration. They all saw the reforms and removals to happen to their cliques and niches too. In the end, the worth of grumbling for the Annexia's broken record for productivity and have been able to much more of the same. They're just the beginnings of an agency prepared to tackle terrorism, and the future's only looking up. Iberia will never be divided. Let's go. Great uptick to the rate of AS resources, improved the silent majority. Handling greatly decreased the council's influence. Considerably improve Iberia's stability. Unlike decisions in which Salazar will help with the economic problems. Let's go, Salazar, my goat. Not really my goat. He's a dictator, but still, my goat. Yeah. So we got this. Yes. Wait, no, wait. I want military spending to be the same. I like military spending. Kind of need it. But yeah. Dial back foreign aid. Yeah, I don't really need this. Who are we even? Oh wait, I want to do this one next. Freedom in a pill. Isabel spoke nervously. Well, doctor, I've been having these cramps lately. That is, I can't concentrate on any of my duties. I heard that there's this pill. Relax. Do you know how many girls come here asking about that? I'll write you a prescription. Is there anything else you need to ask me out? No, just the prescription. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Give me 5 minutes and I'll have it to you. Seriously? That was all it took to get birth control? To think she was doing right now is technically illegal. Indeed, she had been being truthful about the cramps, but that was not why she come here. contraception has been illegal and non-reproductive sex was always severely stigmatized in Iberia. Sex before marriage is a sin. Her religious studies teacher had told her in class over and over again. Freedom to live and love as she chooses. Well, good for her. Well, again, the council took over. Salazar's gone. Again, if anybody knows in the comments how to fix this fuel problem, because I just never have any fuel. I guess it says that obviously factories take fuel and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe it's because the new DLC or new coal changes that does this now. I don't know. Maybe I need to play on an older version of the game, but it's just always empty. Even when I trade, because I would need to trade for 1,004, which is insane. Serial stabbing in Gijon. Several police officers have found victims stabbed to death in the downtown of Gijon in an unprecedented act of violence against those who protect and serve. That the BTA is responsible is fairly obvious due to the already heavily anti-police rhetoric that comes from being commies. Graffiti found near the scene of the crime confirms their involvement. So yeah, okay. We're just getting fucked over. The corrupted constitution, the new constitution, or at least a draft of it, has been published. Copies have been printed in every newspaper possible. Nearly everyone in Iberia will have seen it by now. It certainly seems that way based on the stir we've created in the government, and without there had been dissent within the government, although it is at a level of minimal enough to be oh my goodness, I'm yapping like that. It is said that a good compromise leaves nobody happy. According to our political factions, the Constitution was a good compromise. Some argue it went too far, others not far enough, and there is enough of both sides to ensure that will be an argument over. Oh, I'm so fucking tired, dude. You know when you're when you're sleepy, that's what I'm doing right now. Surely, this is what it will take. The union will now last forevermore, right? Right. We got this forevermore. Opus Dei appeals. Following the commencement of deliberations, the various sects of the Iberian Council waste no time in launching their proposal for the economy. Discussions persist with no true progress to display. Bureaucrats continue to take the floor of the assembly, putting forth nothing but safe, unmarketable economic proposals. At hours' progress, the once lively atmosphere of the assembly hall becomes dull and subdued. There's a deadlock. But we are failing, gentlemen. We must find a way clear. We do not solve this economic question. We must implement policies of liberalization. As the man sits, members with ties of Opus Dei and technocratic blocs rise to their feet and issue organized and thunderous applause. Yeah, more liberal elements of the pitching in. The commotion finally dies down, calling for an order proceeding. Resume the Opus Dei continues to forward policies of liberalization, free trade, market economy. Yeah. What's next for our state? The phalangist appeals substantial reforms favoring liberalization and open economy. Those opposing spared no time in gathering the response. A prominent leader of the right-wing phalangist takes the floor and delivers his fiery response. Have the liberals and technocrats been living in a cave for the past 2 decades? It would certainly seem so. Or have they forgotten what happened to Iberia when it dared to rely on foreign powers? The lone source for our current disaster is the Iberian reliance upon foreigners to protect our nation and protect our economy. This must end. Yeah, so they're like, no, that's dumb. I'm not doing autarky or whatever it's called. We're not Russia. We can't do that. The Iberian Council awaits the Cadillo's statement. Yeah. Originally began Spectrum, endless squabbles. Jointly, okay. I get it. Through compromise. Okay. The Cadillos find themselves in a deadlock. Franco, seeing an opportunity to gain political traction through supporting a popular standpoint, stands with the technocrats as their proposal of liberalization. Salazar, on the other hand, fervently stands by the status quo despite the popularity of the technocrats and the political traction of the phalangists. Franco and Salazar recognize that neither man among them carries the political weight behind him to enforce their standpoint upon one another. Yeah, their compromise, Iberian Council, given a vote upon economic reform. The Cadillos exit the secluded room and take the floor assembly. Approach the podium. 2 men walk shoulder to shoulder, maintaining a nearly visible effort to remain level with one another. Salazar and Franco jointly mount the podium. and inform their assembly of their decision. As soon as they come today, they announced the Iberian Council will convene a vote upon two options for the economic future of Iberia: the approach of liberalization, the maintenance of the status quo. Yeah, no, bro. The Phalangists, or wait, those are like basically, I guess, part of this and like fascists. You guys have no power anymore in our government, basically. So wait, do I get to? Okay, I do get to pick. I think overall, the liberalization of our economy would probably be best, just for right here where you get 2 mills and 2 civs. But again, status quo doesn't seem too bad. Get some GDP growth. But at the same time, I don't really see that being too good. But again, we have to like I don't know. Do we get any more civs in here? Oh, let me like we're maintaining the status quo because I really just need the stability pretty badly. Driving forward, not changing course. There's no shame in being realistic. If the Cadillos had not supported sweeping economic reform before, why would they wish to do it now? When their union is so wrought with instability, nobody could honestly... Yeah, that's what I was basically saying. Steered the Portuguese councillors, unanimous support, yeah. More bombings, of course. But... yeah. See, this is like nice, but the stability loss down here is just not what I wanted to do. I'd rather get the plus 15. And also this focus literally is just balls. So I'd rather just do this. Sure. So this is basically, they went into an elementary school, arrested a teacher, was a Basque separatist. He tried to destroy all of Iberia, and they led the bloodied and bruised man out of the building. Yeah, I don't know why you would bloody and bruise the man while he's fucking in the school. That's pretty stupid. I guess, yeah, it's teaching the kids a lesson, but like, the fuck? Oh shit, more with the inspector. The bottom. The months after the fateful altercation in the inspector's study had been a blur. Each day he lost himself in the case. Parts of his personal life quickly began to fall away, with no consistent stream of income. It came to no surprise his house in eastern Valavoida had soon become repossessed, no less by the local bank, which the inspector had been a loyal customer for many years. He never forget the excitement in the clerk's eyes as he brought him the deed. The inspector had briefly searched for the clues where his wife had gone, only to find the same results he'd been getting in his case. He felt a harsh jab upon the realization, which slowly died away as he continued with his work. It had not taken long for him to find a new base of operations. His old school friend's house. The inspector had been lucky. The newlywed couple had 2 spare rooms prepared for when the house became lively with cries of children. Bounced atop the case of files, when quickly terror dreaded among himself for divorce. Should have been obvious. No one could get a legal divorce in Iberia. She had traveled abroad. The letter dug deep into his chest, past the ribcage in his lungs, straight into his heart. A new husband far away in the distant former colonial lands of Venezuela. A job she finally had been enjoying. His eyes began to blur as he read the next sentence. A child, and not yet born. Soon to enrich the newly formed family lives. Streams ran down his unshaven face, reading, and soon his despair turned into white-hot rage. She was offering him a job as new husband's steel factory. Did she feel sorry for him? Did she not realize the importance of his task? He grabbed a lighter and a cigarette out of his pocket. With a swift movement he lit both the tobacco and the letter, throwing the burning mess out of the window in front of him. He again returned to the case. Files in front of him. Nothing mattered now. Only the case. There is nothing else left. Damn, bro's life is sad. Car bomb in Bello parking lot in Barcelona kills 15. They just keep killing people. The CNT has claimed the attack. Oh my goodness, man. Chill out. They don't even have much support, do they? Like, oh shit, no, yeah, they do. Oh shit. Come on. Down, boys, down. There. Now they're good, I think. Yeah. Weakling. all of their past games, Franco had always been the earlier of the Cadillos. He is always present when Salazar arrived. Though setting up the board was a collaborative effort, today was different. Now, when Salazar walked in, he found the chessboard set up, and there sitting next to it was Franco, waiting. You usually wait for me to arrive before setting up the board. Is this the game? It remains to be seen. Do you believe the Germans regret cutting Portugal in half? Wait, you know they don't care, Salazar. They took it, and they'll cast it to the wind when it's convenient. Oh, they're talking about the colonies. What drives you to keep this union going? The threat of the Germans is not imminent, as it used to be. It has been too long. The nations have been together for so long, it would hurt the peninsula more to be separate again. In his old age, Salazar made a small lapse in judgment. Now, for his time, the game has been shortened considerably. Salazar was dumbfounded. It took him another moment to realize what had been done. Just a few moves ago, he had no remarks and went on his day. After the fact, without a comment to Franco. Is this the start of a new trend? Franco finally won one of his matches. Let's go, Franco. Good job. Tides of change. Gentle waves licked the Cadilla Vela beach, low tides revealing the manner of shells and debris, once obscured by the water. What better place to relax on a hot summer afternoon? Isabel, Tonilida, and Regina had thought so as alas. It was so busy this time of year, ever since they'd built the hotel, vacations from Madrid and other inland cities, foreign tourists, oh, so many. Whores, Isabel chuckled, they all look like whores. The American women wore the most hideous, tiny bikinis clung to their groins and chests, like used chewing gum, to school desks. At least the Brazilians usually had the decency to cover their torsos. Yet only the Iberians and Italians seem to have the dignity to cover their thighs anymore. I don't know about how long that'll last. Brazilian bikinis are pretty... No way. Isabel put their hand over her mouth. That's just whores. To see an American girl dressed like that was one thing, but a classmate no less, that was not something you saw every day. What a slut. Regina Grass. Look, Maria Natalia. Too. And Malfada, what on earth is happening here? Had they all lost their minds? Did they have no manners or the slightest bit of shame? Though, come to think of it, this bathing suit does get rather warm sometimes. Oh, you little freaking assholes calling people whores, but like, maybe that doesn't seem so bad. Bitches. They're bitches. Torre de Iberia begins construction. Much commotion had captured the streets of Madrid. Numerous people have come to marvel at what occupied the center of the city. It was a grand crawling construction site, crawling with activity and mystery. Their slight confusion soon transformed into all-encompassing awe. After all, construction occupying a site is so large, it would certainly become a sight for the whole world to behold. Yep, Iberian prosperity, united leadership, and people's achievements, chief among them economic progress, the two had helped to encourage. They would have it constructed in the heart of the peninsula, where all could come and stand in the wonder of their accomplishment. Unfortunately, building a monolith would take time, most likely several years, which comes substantial costs. Yet the powers that deem such things necessary sacrifices in the name of the national prestige. Yeah, truly I to see. Let's go. Long wait begins. We got this. We're going to build this beautiful thing. The war machine of the Reich rages across Europe. Yeah, so they're just attacking Norway, and I would rather prepare a home defense rather than support Norway. Sorry, Norway, but I don't believe in you too well. You're also just not... I don't think you got this. You maybe have this, but... if you just don't get naval invaded and fucked over really hard, and maybe I can send some volunteers, you might have this. I don't know. It'll be rough. But who knows? An evening in the mud. Maria Francisca de Amedia played with her doll in the mud. Martita Prezes, favorite ever since given to her last Christmas. Marquita was digging in a hole looking for her buried treasure, but large clouds overhead shortly turned the sky dark. Fills the hole with water, disappointed but not overly upset. Francisca went back inside. Her mother, Maria Gabriela Proletro, was exasperated to see her daughter's homemade dress completely soiled. Francisca's mother pulled her dress off and caned her buttocks. Gabriela now had to worry about a crying child and a dress to hand wash, in addition to all of her other responsibilities. Her husband, Carlos, returned from the work, reeking of sardines he had canned. Water warm, so yeah. What are you doing, Dad? Where are we going? Shouted a confused and terrified Francisca as the intense rain, all four soaked. Oh, damn. Okay. That's bad. So it was an intense flood in Lisbon. Ugh, fuck. Repair that shit, bro. Actually, I want this factory to be. No, it's fine. I do want these guys. Support Switzerland. I'm just gonna keep fucking. I'm just gonna keep increasing our defense, man. Yeah, we just need to immediately enact measures, I'd say, if there's a flood that big. The volunteers. Lisbon struggling gains footing after the days after the flooding. The old way of living has already seemed distant memory. The widows of the market. Shit, this was a bad flood then. Damn. Organized to distribute bread across the city, offering grain to several people, mostly women who offered to produce bread themselves. Young adults, teenagers, and even some children as young as 12 were asked to be volunteers. I'd say yeah. Yeah, I don't mind. Just send in the military. And then, oh shoot, bam, activity. National Guardsman Rio Fernando arrived to evacuate the campsite, hastily built after days of flood on Loris campus of the Higher Technical Institute. For a second time in the many days yesterday, he had carried out a few tons of food and medical supplies. Now with the hunger situation mitigated, he carried fabrics as well. Thousands still lived outdoor camps, unpleasant even on a good day, with little protection from the rain and even less from the cold weather. Now Rui helped evacuees place tarps at the bottom of their tents. Yeah, forced you to park outside. Papi, Luisa shouted, embracing the man like many other Luisia had been left homeless by the flood. But now her father had come to bring his daughter to live with him at her childhood home in Cumbira. With the roads mostly cleared, many other left homeless or stranded by the flood could depart from Lisbon, while those that remained could enjoy greater rations and more comfortable living conditions. Without the Cadilla's support, they would be much worse off. Yeah, your boys got 'em, don't worry. Oh, yeah. Oh, Cantar de Gallo. Francisco, this is a disaster for us, I mean. The citizens across the Union are blaming us for the lack of preparedness, and many families are still struggling to find food or shelter. No, I don't think the people are going to find out. No, I don't think so. Oh, we need to place restrictions on news coverage. No, I don't think so. People are going to find out. They'll be angry at us either way. Yeah, we should not downplay the severity. If anything, we need as many independent journalists as possible. I would say yeah. No, we need all the showing as much, like, if we give a lot of support to Lisbon. Yeah, I think that's the best option, really. It's been 2 weeks since the flood washed over Lisbon. We should turn the management over to local government. No. Yeah, we subsidize the housing. Especially if I'm not going to be censoring the press. I need to be showing that I'm doing a bunch of good stuff for the community, I would say. It's a little role play, I know, but still. Attach the power plant grid. Nice. I think that'll probably be the last thing, too. And the dam will be built. Nice. We've gotten almost fully through this fucking thing. And we're almost at the national boom. Okay, no, this is not something I care about. That's something with the Soviets and stuff. So yeah, that's what I was expecting for Switzerland. Stimulus. Provide low interest loans. We should support temporary jobs to construct levees. I think really low temporary jobs, low interest business loans would probably be the best for the economy overall. Because when they get the jobs back, it'd be filling in for us, and they can loan out the money more. Also, I don't want to spend like just a butt fuck ton of money on this event chain. That would not be good, and I definitely need to start training some more divisions because Germany's definitely gonna come after my ass soon. So you boys getting prepared. Papi's boots. Cardillo's boots were covered in dirt, not unlike the night of the flood. Oh no, Carlos's boots, not Cardillo's. Today was a good day. A cool January wind kept him cool as he laboriously shoveled dirt out of the trench. He was not making as much as he did at the cannery, but really he was just happy to have a job at all. The weeks after the flood had been hard, but even with his old job, old car, and old house gone, life was starting to feel normal again. Just the knowledge that work might prevent future floods greatly motivated him and gave him some purpose. Yeah, I started the department. Papi, papi, shouted his exuberant daughter. Mom got a new marquito. Carlos exchanged a knowing glance with his wife. On some days, little Maria Francisca seemed to be more heartbroken by the loss of her doll in the flood than the loss of her home. His work had paid off. His family recovered yet another piece of their old lives. She'd been yapping about that thing all evening, explained his jovial roommate, embracing Carlos and patting him on the back. You do good work. That was one of the unusual things about life after the flood. With so many homes destroyed, it was now common for individuals' apartments to be rented with multiple families. Yeah, it's comfortable living once again. That's nice. That's actually pretty sweet. Very, very sweet. Just in case. Maybe it'll be 99. I don't want to deal with that bullcrap. Oh, shoot. I need to make sure that they don't get power. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. There. Mouth of Tagus. Much has changed over Lisbon over the past several weeks. Thousands of people have been displaced. All too many dead. As cars once again roll down the streets, factories hum with activity. Fishing boats sail on the horizon. One may easily led to believe that nothing terrible had happened here. But the people walk along the sidewalk, knowing just a few weeks ago they were covered in debris. They sleep in bedrooms they had never seen before this late November night. 343. That is how many people the newspaper think have died. 343. That's how many people died. But who's to say the true number is? Who became ill in the evacuee shelters and died? And were they included? How many committed suicide, having seen their lives fall apart suddenly? Lisbon comes back to life, returning to the place of Europe's westernmost great city. But it forever changed. The flood of November 1967 will forever be remembered as the worst natural disaster to occur anywhere in the Iberian Peninsula. In over 2 centuries, the major test the ability of the young Iberian Union to react to the crisis. Lisbon is resilient. So I was wondering, is this like a real tragedy that happened? I'll have to look that up after this video is done, because I wouldn't doubt it. Tragedies do happen. Purifying flame. The inspector's growing desperation. Oh, we're back on the inspector plot. Has driven him to bribe some of his former colleagues to give information on the case, which the Valladolid principal police had uncovered after his dismissal. With glee, he received news that the anarchists he had tracked and failed to properly confront in Barcelona had relocated to Asturias. The night was still young, with a half moon slowly making its way across the dull city night. Yet the street lights failed to dispel the near darkness of the road where the hideout was located. With no security cameras installed, no one noticed the dark shape dash around the house exterior. A triple knock at the back door interrupted a particularly intense poker game between the two anarchists. Inside, hunkering over the door, the larger of the two turned back to his friend to complain. The last hand, turning back, he looked into the shining eyes of a man filled with mad desperation, holding a wooden bat in one hand and a gas can in the other. The inspector managed to quickly subdue both men using the element of surprise, tying them to their chairs. Not willing to wait for the others' arrival, he woke them both ruthlessly with an ice-cold bucket of water. He began the interrogation. When both men initially stayed silent, the inspector retorted by merrily pouring gasoline over the floor and furniture of the room. Soon the men began to talk. The servant had been a member of the group working undercover at the noble family, but had cut ties with the group back in Barcelona. Before the men could tell him where the pair had hidden back, the door opened again, revealing the group of surprised anarchists. It took a minute to the scene confront them as the men finally dashed to free their comrade. The inspector drew his light and told them to stop. When they did not, he ran to the door, threw the lighter back inside, and heard violent screams and curses behind him, being drowned out by the roaring, excited flames as he ran down the street. Turning for a brief moment, he saw all the men had made it out and given chase to him. He continued to run even as he had lost his pursuers. His leg carried him until he could run no further. Collapsing on the ground, buried his face in his hands and first began to hysterically laugh, shortly relapsed by bitter tears. How far could this go? Shit, dude. I really hope they are able to find this fucking woman. I bet she's dead. There's no way she's not dead. But, like, I feel so bad for this guy. He just got fucked over so hard, and then he fucked his life because he couldn't deal with the, like, roughness of it. Let's go. The economy is not terrible. Let's go. And that's a pretty good buff. Iberian economic miracle. Let's go. We'd love to see it. We love to see it. But now what? Now what? Huh? I'm confused. Well, maybe I have to wait till the dam is done made. I don't really know. Yeah, decrease black market activity. Oh shit! I need to make sure I'm battering this. I'll pause and see if anything happens. The death of Salazar. Today, the housekeeping staff of Sao Binte Palace were horrified to find the corpse of Antonio Salazar in his bath. The body was quickly removed for an autopsy and burial, but the knowledge of his death managed to quickly escape this circle of secrecy. It was intended to remain. The Iberian government came up with an official story. Already numerous underground forces within the Union are mobilizing. No, please! With keeping the beloved Gardillo's death a secret being no longer an option, Iberian authorities must put all their resources to play in order to keep the Union stable. Already tanks have been spotted moving down roads in Lisbon, and martial law has been declared in several regions into Portugal. Fuck! Cadillo Franco and Salazar's designated successor, Marcelo Jose des Navas Alves Cantino, has already condemned any forces conspiring to take advantage of Salazar's death. It does not appear that this will provide conclusive end to the political chaos in Portugal. Oh yeah, shit. 20. Oh, dude, I just got my stability back. Oh fuck. Okay, shit. I was wondering what the next focus tree was gonna be, I guess. Death of Salazar. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, wait. Oh, okay, I'm putting my whole fucking military on this bitch. You ain't taking my shit again. Yves declares independence. The government of Iberia. From the military territory of Algeria, the loss of Cadillo Salazar is a tragedy. We will miss his steadfast protective nature of his people. I'm sure, however, his death is exactly why I've seen fit to prepare and send this message to you. I have strong reason to believe that the death of one of the Cadillos, Iberia, will shortly collapse. I mean no means wishing for this to happen, though the possibility is occurrence. I cannot deny that were the Union to collapse, it would signal to the Italians and the others, I am vulnerable, and without your protection, the state would surely wither away. Because of this, prepared to notify you that our diplomatic relationship is henceforth null and void in order to prevent abrupt cessation of relations. Yeah, we ain't doing that. We're waiting to the last second, though. So, there, okay. We are not losing our fucking, one of our biggest areas that we fought for. Fuck that. And I'm just gonna see how fast we can take this back. Okay. And I'll skip this until we are about to capture him and stuff, or if I get any encirclements. A teenage boy in Asturias has discovered a cave with wall of strange paintings of horses. Oh yeah, archaeology. That's cool. First ancient cave painting. The procession. The gun carriage limped down fucking Cadilos, with its possession stretching the full length of the thoroughfare representative of the Civil Guard and Federal Army, Spanish and Portuguese Home Guards. And the Annexia kept the slow pace of marching. Even in Spain's heartland, the sorrow for Portugal's finest son was genuine. None of the many groups that terrorized Iberia dared to make a move here, lest they invoke the remaining Cadilo's wrath. Mi general, we are going to exit Madrid's limits. We can return to El Prado now. Franco stared down his personal orderly as to indicate any further insistence of the matter would get him reassigned to Western Sahara. Fearing the television cameras had caught the change in his facial expression, the horse-bound Cadilos turned his face to the sky. As the funeral's march crossed the Iberian internal border, the expression of grief became more intense. Entire towns went to see the coffin of the man who had determined Portugal's destiny for 42 years. Carmen had told Franco that riding on horseback for the 500 kilometers would be inadvisable for a man of 80, but he did not care. Once they reached the late Cadilo's hometown of Vimero, Franco remembered reading about his appointment as finance minister, the last page of a newspaper in 1926. Receiving his congratulations 10 years later, fighting with him over Spanish intervention during a war, negotiations over the Union, his calming him down during the Anteropa disaster, Franco's heart sunk in a way not since his youth. Now, however, it was not the same for that. After his orderly was replaced by a Portuguese counterpart, when they crossed the border, Franco was the only member of the Madrid procession left by the time he stepped off his horse to follow the coffin to the chapel. He checked his pocket for the eulogy. So he does care about Salazar. I guess if you're running a country 26 years with somebody, you would care. Franco's father had never loved him, yet another thing that had set the two men apart. Even now, his desire to be buried alongside his parents unsettled the General Lingmiso. He tried to repress his father's slight after he had become Cadillo, ignoring him for the lost cause that was his brother Ramon. He just had managed to do it. By the time it was his turn to speak, Antonio Principales, of national sovereignty, great united struggle against the red subversion, decent and hard-working man with a sense of humor. Franco could not stop himself from thinking about the man. He had been a rival, a massive pain. Whenever he had gotten any of his holier-than-thou ideas through, that was for certain. He could feel his skin being burned by the intensity of the camera's setups. At the cathedral, as he moved on to finish the speech, but most of all, the Cadillo sniffed ever so quietly as the sentiments over. I read so much, but I fucking missed the recording got fucked up. But basically, what happened was, Franco was actually, he cried over the death of Salazar. He was his friend, truly, even if they bickered and stuff. And they needed to look for a worthy successor, and I chose Cantino, the moderate reformer, because we needed to make sure that we could have some chance of success in the future and not have a hardliner. And then I'm doing the grand inauguration of Cadillo, the Cantano as the Cadillo. And I was talking about how nice the thing is, and then we also got Algeria. I don't know if we did that in the thing, but yeah, that sucks ass. I read so much fucking text, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes you just fuck up, I guess. The final preparations. An event ever so monumentous and grandiose, it can only be compared to the pompous crowning of the absolute autocrats. Yet this was not some medieval ceremony of authority, but a modern legitimation of a regime so wet behind the ears it had not even raised a single generation successfully. No one knew the importance of the longevity and peace as much as the Spanish Cadillo, who had taken the surprising liberty of inspecting the construction in Lisbon himself. He counted the diverse forms of symbolism he had ordered to be quietly included on the various stages and locations where the rule of the regime had been helped build could finally be stabilized. Pillars of society like the church could not be forgotten in a historic event such as this. observing the hurried tussles of the many workers conscripted from all over the Union. He allowed himself a small smile of relief. Soon would be the end of his road. He now wished that his rival could have stood beside him in this glorious moment. The Union consolidating? Yeah, he's, like I said, like Franco truly does miss Salazar. It's pretty sad, to be honest, all things considered, even their dictators. The chosen successor. The reformer approached the lavish podium, flanked by a seething mass of cheers and jubilation. His eyes, however, remained steady and pointed towards examining the deceptive serenity on the face of the man he would soon run the Union of Nations with. Hands reached out to grasp hold of him, as others were swatted away by the countless security personnel which guarded the extended walkway, admiring the effort of the Spanish Caudillo in quickly preparing such sumptuous courtiership of the Portuguese capital. He climbed the hastily erected marble stairs to stand beside the aging former general. Not exchanging a single word with the Cantano, Franco stepped forward to the microphone. His speech was a strange mix of honorable remembrance for Salazar, a desperate call for unity, managed to arouse some excitement alongside the masses of Lisbon gathered. Cantano noted the slightest hint of satisfied smile on the old man's face upon his retreat to the back of the stage. Now it was his turn to step forward. He braced physically against the intense din as he quickly shuffled the notes for his speech. Words of reform, moderation, and ease of tensions on the half a peninsula were almost lost in the raucous. I thought it was ruckus. Yeah, no, it's raucous applause, which is like harsh applause that followed. Did you detect a hint of jealousy in Franco's eyes when they left the stage together? No matter. He had done his part and done it well. Forwards into a new era for Iberia. Let's go. I get some stability back, baby. The man with full-framed glasses, Marcelo Cantino, stood before a mirror, tying his necktie and adjusting his round plastic-rimmed glasses. He would be lying to himself if he claimed to never imagined being Caudillo one day. Through the 1950s, he had been among the most prominent politicians in Salazar's circle, and his inclusion in the Iberian Council was obvious. There he had made close personal connections to the variety of Spanish leaders, men like Manuel Fraga and even Caudillo Franco himself. Along with Alberto Ulotres, his spearhead the reforms to Seguridad Social that passed a few years ago, and now hoped to work on the other gradual reforms to Iberian policy. In the weeks leading to his appointment, he had doubts whether Franco would select him, but trusted that his political connections and close friendship with the late Portuguese Caudillo would boost his chances. Yesterday, Cantino was inaugurated as Portugal's new Caudillo. Caudillo. Today he would meet with the council as Caudillo for the first time. It felt surreal walking into the same chamber as every other meeting and taking a seat in front of the chamber rather than his usual seat with the Portuguese ministers. The empty seat between Incencio Galvão Teles and Alberto Franco Nogueira spoke to just how much the situation had changed in so short of a time. Val Serrel called the councillor to order and introduced Cantino to a council already well acquainted with him. Cheers, some more enthusiastic than others, echoed through the chamber. Even at his meeting, a meeting obstinately dedicated to his inauguration, Franco spoke substantially more than Cantino, and Cantino substantially less than Salazar had at the most prior meeting. This fact was not lost on anybody. One day, the Marcelo Cantino had hoped to showcase his willpower and capability. He instead appeared as little more than a lapdog for the Spanish Caudillo, with his new chapter in Iberia's history to be marked by Cantino's ambitious reforms, or was it instead marked by Franco's quiet putting Portugal under his thumb? Regardless, it is the same. The Iberia will never be the same. we get the new Cadillo focus tree. TNO's first day. Cadillo's will soon begin the first day of Portugal's new Cadillo. Formal affair, yeah, greeting new staff and all that, yeah. Makes sense. Research some Cantino's first day. Following the grand inauguration, Cantino quickly delved into administrative work, attempting to gain ever clearer pictures of the situation Iberia was finding itself in. Knowing the problems facing a regional representation, he recognized his own important role, not just as a competent replacement for Salazar, but also in being a figurehead of Portuguese interests in the Union. He was able to integrate himself effectively with the members of both the Legislative and Advisory Council. Cantino figured that despite their seemingly lack of fucking dude, I'm so tired, in opposing Cadillo decision making, that they were still extremely important in the process of smooth governance. If an issue were to divide the two dictators, it may also help to gain their support, to overwhelm Franco's arguments. The first day was a flurry of meetings and paperwork to establish the authority behind closed doors. The government, in the same way inauguration had cemented his standing. Yeah, so basically, the first day was just trying to get his power. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I'd like to get clearing the bureaucracy, get that done with. Get that away with me. Fuck, dude. I'm so sorry for the yapping. I really don't mean to. I'm just like so drowsy that I'm like talking about nothing really, and I'm sorry about that. So yeah, this is just he was population centers all over, surprised by the unannounced visits to the new Portuguese Cadillo. Yeah, just doesn't seem anything bad, but just him going around. I should be able to start crushing some of these places. At least I'll be able to crush this one. I messed up by spending way too much on this, but I didn't realize I needed to spend to do this, and then I can strike it. But we got this. BTA is going to be no more for the good of the Union. Let's go. We got this. I'm just going to play it out. I don't really think you guys mind too much of me just waiting a little bit. And expand quarterly funding. And decrease black market trading, because that's bad. Oh, 99 towards completion. Shit. What do I do now? Oh, the monument. Okay. Bam. Damn it. I should have done that earlier. I didn't realize that was a thing. But in 200 days, it will be done. The monument is all that needs to be done. Okay, that's good. For the good of the Union. It almost felt like continuity. That was the beauty of effective reform. In the critical eye of the public, Cadillo Cantano had already taken great efforts to see his transition into power without hitches. His numerous visits and attempts to understand the mood and problems of locals around the Union had given him impetus to carry both forth his ideas and display them proudly to the various councils and to his Spanish counterpart. It was not his will he was representing, but that of the Iberian people. Not only he had effectively positioned himself in his new role, so the general populace supported him, but also had managed his staff and administration well. This had given support of many in the civil service. He now stood at the pinnacle and admired by many. Without the ruinous taint of scandal, Cantano was positioned to be a unifying, establishing figure in Iberian politics. His reluctance to immerse himself in the cheap power politicking that Salazar and Franco had been engaged in was refreshing to those in higher office. Seeing a change from trying to gain relative gains over one another to working for an absolute gain of the Union made Cantino one of the first true Iberians, not a Portuguese nationalist, but a product of ongoing integration of the two nations. A different kind of hand at the helm. Let's go. Everything's looking up Millhouse. Let's go. Okay. Did not change the focus tree, though? Or is that just the last focus? That'd be pretty funny if it was. But I would see that is about to be made, so who knows? Yeah, well, I'll see if anything happens. The fate of the Iberian Council, created almost 7 years ago as an advisory body to help the Cadilos rule the nation, the Iberian Council has served through all the important events in the recent history. The Battle of Barcelona, the economic restructuring of our country, and the death of Salazar. The influence over the government was left vague to avoid protests from the various groups. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna deal with it. Yay, okay, yeah, Feign let them in. Dissolve the council. Our loyal advisors. Oh shit, I kinda wish I could do this. But yeah, it doesn't have enough power. So yeah. Well, I'm gonna read through this. The standard keyboard. Okay, bro, this does not matter. A new beginning. Finally, the puzzle pieces were beginning to fall into place. A dissatisfied heiress of a minor noble family, with no formal way of escaping her trapped existence. A former anarchist who had replaced the trappings of ideology with those of love, and finally a group of relocating freedom fighters. Initially, the ultimate question remained, even with the acquisition of the anarchist testimonies. He confirmed that the servants worked undercover for the anarchist cell, while he worked for the noble family. But where were they? Had the pair moved with the cell to Asturias? Had it been hidden somewhere else entirely? If they had met with the anarchists in Barcelona, why would they have continued to move farther once the servant had left the organization? As the anarchists relayed during the interrogation, it already put a great distance between the former reality of the two wanted to escape. The inspector began to look through his files again, this time taking great pains to pursue the money which had been withdrawn multiple times from the girl's accounts. He took note of a particularly large amount of sum, and his attention towards gaining better insight properly market the Barcelona. After months of anonymous calls, information parcel finally triangulated a small apartment which seemed to match both the time and frame of withdrawal amounts. He had found them. A chance at redemption? Bro, it's going to be so sad. It's literally just going to be like she wanted a better life, so she left. And he ruined his life trying to figure out if she got murdered or some shit. Oh my god. That's what it's going to be, isn't it? African devastation. Well, that's actually African freedom, I think, more if anything, not devastation. Oh, wait. Also, some of South Africa got kind of split up. But not all of it, surprisingly. But nice. Popular Republic of the Congo. Oh, goddamn. I forgot again. I forgot. Oh, shit. No. There. Liberalism in particular has been a great plague upon the Union's good Christian society. Constantly advocating for tyranny, the rule of the masses would destroy this country. It is for this reason that they must go, albeit with a heavier heart, most are simply misled, brought on by their insidious ringleaders. Blah, 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 blah. Intelligence here, one of the most troublesome. I think the terrorists are the most important right now because they're kind of fucking our shit up. The method, with a velvet glove, openly with great force. I'd say openly with great force would make most sense. We need to show that, like, we don't fuck with the terrorists. You die if you're a terrorist. Makes sense. Expand the quarterly funding. Fuck, backlash. Oh, fuck. And I have no save. That would be, yeah, fucking I ain't going back to 66. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have. Never mind, I'm stupid, I guess. Reassuring the people, we are not monsters. My bad. Shit. Hey, that's still very low, though. What? It was supposed to increase. The Cadilos give a speech about the council. Franco, in despite of his old age, haggard demeanor, walks his way to the podium. There's a slight limp, drowned out by the plethora of guards sprinkled across the stage. He finds his voice. Oh, shit. I have brought myself here to tell you all because I wish to address the Iberian Council. The effort strain him. He finds himself using his arms, gesturing wildly, as he had years ago. Their dedication is truly commendable. Their help is one of that's proven invaluable. Iberians, he snaps. A consendo of volume piercing. So I don't really know what to do, to be honest. Because, shit. Like, I think probably this would be the better path overall. Maybe, like, in the for the future, but, like, I don't know. Welcome all. Oh, fucking hell. Just, fuck you. Worse instability. And I lock them up. I guess we're locking them up. And address the problem. A very long meeting. Things looked to drag out for ages. The Cadillo would present an issue, discuss it with his cohort, then pose it to the council. Like a crank, each part of the council moved an issue back and forth, seemingly endless motion, an endless cycle of bickering, arguing, and all-out brawls. Oh, all but brawls. Census of something. It was muddled, indecisive, and frequently did not entirely address what they were set out to be. Not to say that everyone participated in such a scheme, but those seemed frequently loose of the tug-of-war. Yeah, someone did. Oh. Stop it, guys. I don't... Oh. This is so a butt. It's butt booty. Butt booty, indeed. Address the real problem. Okay. With the doors locked, armed guards watching every entrance. Yeah. No food, no water. Yeah, we're dissolving the council. I think Iberia is going to be fucked. I don't know So, theoretically, they really actually should have won because it should have boosted them right here because of the fuck up I made, but it just didn't. So, I guess I'm fine. I don't really mind, to be honest, but yeah, I got lucky. Got real lucky. The announcement. Franco marched into the chamber with a look of determination about him. He stood straight and walked quickly. Whether it was true or not, Franco had often seemed the lesser of the two Cadillos in his public appearances, perhaps because Salazar was 9 inches taller and many more years experienced than the Spaniard. But that was hardly the case today. Even if Cantino was a comparable height to his predecessor, he hardly lacked the experience or even dignity to even as a casual observer. Franco appeared the leader, and Cantino appeared a little more than his meek servant. Yeah, okay. Gentlemen, Franco yelled, still a few steps away from the microphone. The past few years have been marked by nothing if not conspiracy. Whether it be the CNT conspiring to occupy Barcelona, or the ETA conspiring to rise up in Bilbao, whether it be the liberals trying to infiltrate our colleges or socialists trying to infiltrate our factories. Yeah, so basically, Chamber was shocked and terror. Yeah, we got this, bro. We kicked them all out. And we're going to pardon the loyal. I did not fucking mean to do this, but okay. Fuck. Wait. Okay, so I fucked up. Okay, well, I'm going to use a little bit thing called the cheater. So, my bad, guys. Just because it says there's no fucking content for him. Well, never mind, I'm actually fucked. So this is probably going to be the end of it, sadly. It's 10 days until the Gibraltar Monument is made, so we're going to... Well, I guess it will be done in time. Also, right before Iberia fucking splits in half, because I fucked up. Gibraltar Dam opening ceremony. Yeah. The opening ceremony began noon. Yeah. Someone out of the view, the signal from Franco seemed to activate the statue. It turned out it was a fountain. Water gently leaked from the pommel in the eyes of swastika-clad men. A band began to triumphantly play a series of songs. We got our revenge. We did it. Let's go. Oh, is that like how big it is now? Because I don't remember it being that big. Maybe. I don't know. I might just be dumb. Wait, what? Why do I still gotta do that? Oh no. Get over it. No, bro, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do this. A new world wonder, the eighth world wonder of the world, the newest title bestowed upon the Gibraltar Dam, seemed to be becoming the most noteworthy. Yeah. Let's go. We did it. I don't know if the music's not on or whatever, but we did it. Let's go. I'm just going to let this. No, it's fine. I guess I'll continue to. But man, that sucks so much. I really was enjoying this path too, and I just fucked it up. I guess that's the part of TNO. You can really just fuck up sometimes. Anarchy in Iberia, yeah. The Basque Republic declares independence. Fuck you guys. No. Wait, what? We don't even get to go to war with them? They just get independence? Oh, what the fuck? We're taking Basque County. Yeah, we need to do that. Oh, this is awful. This is so ass. Okay, well, Portugal leaves the Union. Yeah. Fuck, dude, I did not mean to do this. Our darkest hour. Okay, at least we got a focus tree. Oh, this is so butt, dude. And now this breakaway, everything's just gonna break away. We just blow ass. What the fuck, bro? It ain't fair. This ain't fair, man. This ain't fair. No. No. No, please, please, please. I might just actually leave it to just dying. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Just I'll watch it slowly. The true collapse of Iberia. Fuck. Yep. 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 Fuck, dude. The collapse. Oh, that's a fucking amazing screenshot though. Right there. Ah. But no, like I still can't believe I fucked that up that bad. If I just I don't know, if I would have read it beforehand, I would have been able to like switch my focus to the other one faster. But I can't believe I fucked up like that. That's so sad. I was enjoying this so much too. Oh, fucking hell, dude. I'm recording this after the fact. I'm about to record a second campaign. Or a new one, I mean. If you guys want to watch me, like, finish Iberia, try to reunite it as, Iberia, I can do that. I don't mind doing that. It sounds kind of okay. But it's up to you guys. If there's any demand for it, I'll do it.